And hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the Saturday night live stream, live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about the news. We'll talk about altcoins. I'm going to move some crypto around for you guys. I'm going to talk about personal security tonight. And I'm going to give you some spoilers to a Netflix movie, which I hope you don't mind. So if you haven't seen Missing yet and you want to watch it, maybe you want to skip this one. But there's a lot of issues that were raised during that movie that I really want to dive into with you guys tonight to keep yourself safe, keep your accounts safe, and kind of keep your life safe. So with that said, I'm here again with the rig. Got all my goodies around me. Thank you again for being here. I hope everybody can hear me okay. How's everything going tonight? Looks like it. Let's see. Let me thank everyone that's here. Yeah, let's try this. There we go. Welcome everybody again. Ken Wiedner, Kenny, thanks for being here. The news, most of the news is brought to you by Kenneth, who likes to be called Kenny. I guess only his mom calls him Kenneth, but he's quite a trooper. He sends me news stories almost every day of the week. So now I have a normal routine of just kind of going, I do a search for his email, and then I look at all the emails that he sent me, and then I open them up one by one and then open up the news story in tabs. And then I go through all the news stories that Ken sends me during the week. So he sent me a couple of good ones this week that we'll talk about. So once again, thank you, Kenny, Lady Fox, E. Poston from Colorado. Thanks for joining again. Lady Fox 77 from Texas. That's cool. Crypto Hive Mind hasn't been here in a while. Good to have you here. Asil, thank you for being here. Amsterdam, Holland. Jay Poole, it's great to have you here live. PJ Playhouse, thanks for being here. Mic test 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Marco PT. Scott Lee is here. Thank you from Hawaii. Aloha to you, Scott. Jim C., thanks for being here. Mustafa Lam with emojis in tow. And I think I've said hello. MG from Switzerland. Really cool to have you here. If you guys have never been in my live stream before, I talk about crypto security and security in general. I've got a little outline in the description down below. If you take a look, and gives you a quick overview of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. Got a little agenda and ways to connect with me. Please send me an email. I'll do my best to answer your questions via email. Little financial disclaimer, I don't give financial advice. Don't forget to like and share. I think they call that a call to action, don't they? Action! And then the news stories that we're going to talk about. A bunch of affiliate links. I've got a link to that movie Missing if you want to watch it after the spoilers. I won't spoil the ending. I'm just going to talk about some of the things that happened that are computer related during that movie, which are very interesting. Tired of worrying about SIM swaps? I've got a new sponsor, Ifani. And you might want to check out their cell phone service. We're going to talk a little bit about, your phone getting the sort of things that can happen. And SIM swapping is a way for hackers to get control of your accounts. And we've got some affiliate links for the old ledgers. I'm still using my Ledger Nano X. Trezors, that good stuff, MetaMask, Electrum Bitcoin wallet, which is an open source, some cryptocurrency exchanges that I like to use, and all that good stuff. Why don't we dive into the news real quick so we can get that behind us? Bitcoin's big move due in July after March 30K push. Latest analysis. I like to do the good news if I can. You can scour the internet for analysis, charting, and all that good stuff by all the experts and not really be any wiser than you were before. So I like to stick to the positive. But it says Bitcoin has been busy perfectly mimicking its moves after the 2020 crash. QCP Capital argues. Now, I've heard this argument many times. I've watched people that will superimpose past charts like the 2017 bull run against like the current run, or like, oh, look, the charts, they're identical, and then look at 2017, it just shoots higher, and the argument is that the exact same thing is going to happen today. Not always, right? But this particular analogy here is for the 2020 run-up, which was quite exciting. If you remember 2020, Bitcoin hit a low along with everything else in the world at about March of 2020, the black swan event of COVID. And so is that going to happen again? Are we experiencing, we're not really experiencing a black swan event, but we are experiencing what do you call it? It's not a bull run. It's a bear run. Bear market, yeah. Bitcoin price has been ranging between 26,000 and 31,000 since mid-March, but analysts are increasingly calling time on the sideways action. QCP Capital is among them, predicting a change, of course, as soon as the end of the month. This, it argues, is thanks to the U.S. debt ceiling sideshow vanishing, leaving Bitcoin closely mimicking its consolidation and breakout phase of 2020. So we'll see. Might be cool. As I mentioned, I put links to all of these articles down in the description below. A little good news for those of you who are hoping for something good to come along, right? Chart-wise, Bitcoin-wise. And as you know, if you're have been following crypto, the rest of the crypto market tends to follow Bitcoin's lead. Not always, but in general. So what's good for Bitcoin is good for the crypto market in general. And that's kind of a general rule that we follow. Now here is hot off the press, one of the latest regulatory the latest regulatory news coming out of the U.S. U.S. lawmakers aim for crypto regulatory clarity with proposed bill putting the screws to SEC. The framework under the bill would allow certain tokens to qualify as digital commodities if they were decentralized and crack down on the SEC's previous approach to crypto. Lawmakers with the United States House Financial Services Committee and House Agriculture Committee have released a draft discussion offering certain crypto assets a pathway to being labeled digital commodities, whatever that means. According to a discussion draft published on June 2nd, that was yesterday, hot off the press, lawmakers proposed establishing a fundamental framework aimed at providing regulatory clarity for crypto firms in the United States. The draft bill would prohibit the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission from denying digital asset trading platforms from registering as a regulated alternative trading system and allow such firms to offer digital commodities and payment stablecoins. Now, mind you, this is not legislation. This is like a proposal for a discussion, and it's mostly backed by Republicans. And I think we talked last week that crypto has sort of, like a lot of things that shouldn't be political, has become political, and tending for the Republicans to be advocates of crypto and the Democrats to be anti-crypto. Now, those are just generalities, right? But that tends to be how things shake out. Oh, Roska, just subscribe. Rosek, thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, they're going to talk a little bit about that here. First of all, Coinbase's chief legal officer, Paul Grewal, lauded the bill, saying it lays a strong foundation for regulatory jurisdiction and definitions. That's all good news. Introduced by the House Financial Services Committee Chair Patrick McHenry and House Agricultural Committee Chair Glenn Thompson, both Republicans. The legislation lacked input from lawmakers on the other side of the political aisle. Democrats and Republicans have sometimes demonstrated a willingness to have a bipartisan approach to crypto regulation, but it's unclear how far the proposed legislation could advance in a divided Congress, right? So that's to be seen, right? And it seems that Gary Gensler and the SEC are pretty much part of what we might call the ruling regime. The current admin, which is Democrat dominated, right? The executive branch is controlled by the Democrats. And Congress, Senate, and House are pretty much fairly evenly divided as far as the parties go, with the Republicans having a little bit of a majority in the House, and the Senate still pretty much even. I think the Dems have a little bit, I forget how it shook out after the last election. But yeah, we're kind of divided politically. So we'll see if this legislation or this proposal gains any traction or not. It would be nice if the U.S. could provide some digital or some regulatory clarity. Now, I want to turn to the EU, and what I'd like to talk about is the EU formally signs a new crypto licensing money laundering rules, MICA. The MICA law is set to make the bloc the first major jurisdiction with tailored crypto regulations. The European Union formally signed its landmark Markets in Crypto Assets regulation into law on Wednesday, taking the bloc closer to becoming the first major jurisdiction in the world with tailored rules for the sector. The law was signed by the European Parliament President Roberta Metsola. Oh, veteran. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're going to get a kudo musical interlude here in a minute. I think it's maybe a 10-second delay because there it is. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. The law was signed. We said that. The news was announced on Twitter by the Swedish government. Now, what I wanted to point out here about this law, and it ties in with the theme of my live stream tonight, which is something about self-custody. Is it under attack, right? I'm going to talk a little bit about Ledger here in a minute, but I just wanted to point out where it said that. Okay, that's a separate law. Forced into weeks, stablecoin, true cost. Here it is. MICA will enter into force in a few weeks after being published in the EU's official journal, which is likely in June. Its provisions offering crypto exchanges and crypto wallet providers a license to operate across the 27 nation block. Now that's telling because these new rules are applying to wallet providers, right? Which would include Ledger. Ledger is in the EU. It's in France. It's based in France, and so we have to wonder if Ledger's new direction is more than just about business or revenue. It could be regulatory concerns on the part of the company. They don't want to be regulated out of business, basically. So perhaps this new this new Ledger Recover feature, which stores the user's seed phrase in a cloud and also ties their identity to their wallet not to a certain extent. It completely does, right? In order to sign up for this service, you have to provide KYC to Ledger, which ties your identity to your crypto wallet, right? And that was their solution to being able to recover to an empty or lost wallet, right? That was the whole plan, was that if you were unable to manage your own seed phrase and you needed help, then you could sign up for this service, which would generate revenue for Ledger and allow your keys to be extracted or exfiliated, or whatever the term is, off of your device, sharded cryptographically, stored in separate locations. But the problem was being able to, how are you going to authorize the recovery? Because the device is gone or damaged. So you didn't have the device to say, well, this is my device. Can you restore it? It had to be, this is me. Can you restore my new device, right? And so they tied all this to your identity, which is something that no one can forget, right? This is for mom and grandma and Uncle James, who can't manage their own passwords and forget stuff, and so you can't forget your identity, right? But the deeper issue is we've got our crypto tied to our identity, which I would never do, but some people might, right? But we have to wonder why they introduced this feature and why they chose the identity as the way to restore your crypto, right? So why don't we, let's see, I'll talk about missing in a minute. But I will bring up this article here on Decrypt. Now, we've talked about this. This article is a couple weeks old. And it kind of came out in the midst of all of this discussion about Ledger. And this was most people's biggest concern, backdoor with Ledger. And mine as well. It became mine a lot because a lot of my viewers were concerned about this. But, this is just one factor that we have to deal with. The backup service, I feel, is troubling. Ledger's attitude, I think, is troubling. And, the trust in Ledger has been lost to a certain extent. And, the concerns that there's a backdoor have been at the forefront of most people's minds. I won't go too far into this article. Suffice it to say that Ledger announced this service, and it allows you to back up your seed phrase and from your device. And up to that point, before this, Ledger had always said that the keys never left the device. And I've been telling people that for years because a lot of people were concerned about Ledger having access to their crypto. And I told them that this was not possible because the keys never left the device, and the device generated a random private key when you initialized it. All right. But having Ledger come out with a service that actually did, now they're claiming that it's completely user choice, right? That it doesn't just happen under the hood, that it can't possibly happen under the hood. But that message was lost on people that have been suspicious of the company for years. If Ledger is finally admitting that the keys can leave the device, how do we know that they haven't been pulling our keys off all along? And it didn't help that somebody in their tech support department basically said, this is possible. And let me see if you know what? I knew I was trying to do something before this started. And I want to just really quickly see if I can grab it. It was let me see if it was here. See, I'm going to have to do this, and I don't like doing it.
For SIM swaps.
Yeah, let's do that. Must have been the week before. I'm not going to be able to do this. I should have done this beforehand. Really sorry. Let me see if I can get back one. Maybe this one. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. I can't ever do this stuff. Aha! Yes, I did it. Actually did something live that I should have done before we started. This is the article that I was talking about, and there was a snide little evaluation of Ledger's attitude, which I thought was kind of funny. Okay, so the tweet, if you remember, the tweet was from Ledger support was, technically speaking, it is and always has been possible to write firmware that facilitates key extraction. You have always trusted Ledger not to deploy such firmware, whether you knew it or not. And that was what people didn't want to hear. But their attitude was, this is great, but boy, oh boy, you have always trusted Ledger not to steal your money. Not the right way to phrase that, right? Despite being broadly accurate, the message added immensely to the confusion, fueling even more panicky rhetoric on Twitter, including claims that Ledger devices had been revealed to have some deep flaw or backdoor. The offending comment seems to simultaneously affirm all the worst fears being floated, which had always been there. I had been dealing with people's worst fears over the years and telling them, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Ledger does not have your private keys. The private keys never leave the device. And then that got that whole assurance got blown out of the water with this revelation. Here it is, regardless of intent, right? Both technically speaking and whether you knew it or not, will be heard as condescending, even dismissive, right? Yes, we can do the thing you're most worried about, but you shouldn't be worried about it because we could always do it, and you're kind of dumb for not already realizing that, right? That's been their attitude. And so I just wanted to check no one's asking any burning questions right now. I had a AMA with Ledger. I didn't record it, and things got a little messed up because of the scheduling. I won't go into that, but suffice it to say that I ended up being a little late to the AMA, so I didn't hear everything. And the AMA was with Charles, their CTO, their Chief Technology Officer, I believe. And basically what I got, I can get rid of this. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Let's go back here. We can go here. Yeah. So basically, well, let's go to this thing. I'll just talk to you guys one-on-one. Basically, my conversation, they had several influencers present, and we had the opportunity to speak directly to Charles, ask him questions, and our Ledger affiliate rep was also there, and I didn't recognize any of the other influencers. I don't watch a whole lot of other YouTube channels. but we were all kind of voicing our concerns. And I have to say, I really was not very happy with their attitude. I would say Charles is kind of, I'm sure Charles is a great guy and a really smart guy and all that. And I know a lot of what he was saying was policy sort of decided at the top. I'm sure he might have had some collaboration into it. But basically their attitude, and he said this a few times, was that people don't understand how hardware wallets work. And so what we need is education. And that sort of goes right back to that story. Did I close that story? That whole story was basically you don't get it, so trust us. And everyone that raised concerns in the AMA about their firmware not being open source and how do we know that your wallet is safe, was met with the kind of a distractive argument, which I tended to feel that the argument was a distraction, was people were talking about cold card, people were talking about open source software, and he kept saying things like, well, no matter how safe and secure open source software is, there's always a way for an attacker to inject attacks, and this is what I know, and maybe you don't understand it. But his argument was basically nothing is safe, and I think that's kind of a cop-out to say that. Sure, there are risks in everything. I've even brought up risks in air-gapped wallets because they do have an SD card that you have to put the firmware updates on, and then the SD card goes in your device to run firmware updates, and that is an attack surface. So I understand that there are lots of attack surfaces out there. But when you're dealing with your affiliates who have been on the front lines, demonstrating the device, talking about the device, educating people on the device, for the Ledger CTO to sort of just tell us, oh, nothing's safe, and so you should just trust us. That's basically his argument. And I was a little disappointed in that. My question was, what can you tell, what can you give me, what kind of answer can you give me that I can bring to my users to assure them that your device is safe now? And basically it was trust us, right? And also, it became obvious, and he mentioned this a couple of times, that they are never going to have open source firmware. They're talking about it and tiptoeing and tap dancing around it, but they really have no intention of making their firmware open source in any way. Now, I get it. That is true. Most hardware wallets are not open source. It is very difficult to have a multi-crypto open source wallet, and I get that. But I believe if we look at Trezor, they are open source. And a lot of the things that Charles mentioned about things being insecure, an attacker injecting a bad firmware update. A lot of those things can be dealt with if you're smart enough or if you are educated enough. So to just say that nothing is secure, we're not secure, well, nothing is insecure, so don't expect us to be secure because nothing is secure, it's a bad cop-out to me. And, obviously it is a service that's needed because I'm sure they're on the front lines dealing with people that have lost their seed phrase. I get that. It's not something that I need because I've learned over the years how to manage my seed phrase. I just don't think the implementation is very good. And I think that they should have done it with maybe a different device and kept their other devices the same instead of updating the firmware on their flagship device and then telling everybody it's to enable this new service that allows you to back up your seed phrase, and you don't have to use it if you don't want, but you do need that firmware update because that's the way firmware updates work. So they're forcing us into a firmware update that allows seeds to be backed up over the internet, and the fact that it allows this has a lot of people on edge, right? That's it. I hope I got that across, right? So that's the latest on me with the Ledger device. And let's talk a little bit about I just want to catch up on the chat here. My Ledger was in Switzerland. I was in Switzerland. Ledger was in Switzerland. Pardon me. This is MG. On June 1st and 2nd for Regulation Crypto Valley Conference, the website, big event. Okay, yes. So we don't know for sure, but this might be the way that Ledger is surviving, right? They were being threatened probably with regulations, with their very existence was being threatened by some of these financial regulations. So maybe this is, their way of surviving by offering this service, and it might end up being mandatory. Who knows? I really, that's just speculation on my part. I knew it was too good to be true. There shouldn't be a cold wallet unless it can be used cold. I agree. If you have over 100 BTC, then you should worry about a backdoor. You wouldn't put your debit card on Twitter for everyone to see. I agree with that, of course. Because Ledger knows things that we don't yet know about regulations, store, okay, but sell will be almost impossible through keys without KYC. That's interesting that you brought that up, yeah. And also you want to, you have to remember that Ledger not only has a wallet and, their wallet, this is their Ledger Live software where you can manage your crypto. Not only is it the Ledger Live software allow you to manage your wallet, but there are also some buy-sell features within Ledger Live and some swap features within Ledger Live that might have fallen under these regulations. Right? So perhaps, they're trying to get ahead of that. Would setting a passphrase on top of your seed phrase protect you? Stable Bitcoin, stacks Bitcoin. Yes, it does. I have, a lot of people have brought that up, and it does protect you because it adds a component to your seed phrase that is it's like a 25th word, and it basically means that in order to gain access to the entire seed phrase, you need that passphrase. I know that the language is kind of difficult here, but passphrase is the term for that additional layer of security that you can add on top of your Ledger device that makes the seed phrase meaningless or useless without the passphrase. Now I'll tell you though, there are some drawbacks to that. Thank you, Abdullah, for the subscription. I appreciate that. So the passphrase, and let me just kind of point out what a passphrase is, if I can get that across to you guys. I did a video. Whoops. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Okay. So I did a video on this. Now, there's a couple of things I would like to say about a passphrase. The first is that I don't usually recommend it for newcomers. The reason being is that Once you've added a passphrase to a configuration and started storing crypto behind that configuration, and you will lose access to that crypto if you forget this passphrase. So it's very easy to lose access to your crypto because the passphrase totally depends on you. Now, the seed phrase, the 24-word seed phrase, also depends on you. Usually you write that down, but a lot of people think, oh, I need to be super secure. They get really weird, and they put this passphrase on their device, and then they start storing crypto, and then a week or two or a month or a year down the line, they open up their ledger, everything's fine, and then they need to enter their passphrase to access the crypto, and they've forgotten it. And boom, the crypto's gone. So that's the first caveat with the passphrase. The next issue that you have with the passphrase is if you're like me, if you have a whole bunch of crypto stored on your Ledger Nano X or Ledger Nano S Plus or whatever, and then you start worrying about your seed phrase. I'm really not worried about my seed phrase. I trust Ledger not to have my seed phrase on file. But that's only trust. The problem with this configuration is that if I decide to put a seed phrase on, I cannot just add seed phrase protection to an existing configuration. That's not how it works. If I have my Ledger device and then I enter my seed phrase, now I'm in a completely new configuration. And if I want to protect all of my existing crypto, then I will have to transfer it crypto by crypto, right? There's no migration. It doesn't work like that. You take, and I'll put a link to this video down in the description below. Basically, when you enter your passphrase, you have created a brand new configuration, and if it's the first time you've done it, you've entered your passphrase on this device, it's blank. Right? It's a blank, brand new configuration. You're going to have to add new accounts that are tied to the passphrase, and then transfer. If you have crypto in your base configuration, you'll need to transfer it over. And a lot of things could go wrong. First of all, you're going to have all these transfer fees, which are going to suck. Second of all, you might do something wrong and lose your crypto because you're freaked out and you're stressed out, and but that's and I've said this before, and I think I brought this up with last week. There was a webcast by Andreas Antonopoulos, who's a very smart guy in the crypto sphere. Kind of wrote the book on Bitcoin. And one of his warnings behind all of this is that people are going to get freaked out that all of a sudden their crypto is at risk. They're going to start madly transferring crypto around or trying to improve their OPSEC, whatever it is, transferring to a new wallet, buying a new wallet, adding a passphrase, figuring out a weird way to store their seed phrase that kind of thwarts hackers and all that, and then forgetting what they did and screwing something up and losing their crypto. So you have to be very calm, cool, collected when you're dealing with cryptocurrency. I say, I've told people many times, don't transfer crypto when you're in a rush. And that's why, usually people have a strategy as far as where they keep their crypto, right? You keep your crypto on an exchange for trading. You keep your crypto in your wallet for storing. But if you move all of your crypto to your wallet, and then the market's going crazy up or down, and you need to trade your crypto, now you need to transfer your crypto from your wallet back to an exchange, and people are, stressed out over this, right? They haven't practiced. It's kind of like going out and maybe practicing how to shoot a gun, and then running, maybe once, and then going out with your friends, and the duck flies over, and you don't know what you're doing because you haven't had enough practice. So a lot of people, they watch my videos, they put their crypto in their wallet, and then when it comes time to sell, then they're stressed out. They don't know how to do the transfer. They haven't practiced. So that's why I've advised people not to move crypto when they're under stress. And that's why I advise people to, if you're planning on trading, keep some on the exchange. And if you want to keep everything in your wallet, then you should periodically practice moving crypto back and forth so that you're comfortable with it, so that when the push comes to shove and you really need to move your crypto, you have practice and you can do it, without being stressed out, right? So back to the seed phrase, right? I did a video on how to set up a seed phrase configuration, and this will protect you if your seed phrase is compromised. Now, I know I've been talking a lot about Ledger tonight and how it's possible that the Ledger isn't a safe device. Now, I don't mean to say that it's not. I just mean to say that I can't prove it. I still trust my Ledger. So I know it's hard not to get stressed out over this. But the comment was, will a passphrase protect us if the original 24-word backup phrase is compromised? And the answer is yes. A passphrase will protect you because that passphrase is only known by you, and that is the only way to access the particular configuration. The problem is getting all your crypto into that configuration might be, you're going to have fees, and you might do something wrong and screw something up, right? So yes, it is a solution to this so-called problem, right? We don't know that it's a problem. We don't know that Damaso, thank you for the subscription. We don't know for a fact that Ledger has all of our seed phrases, and that's kind of a ludicrous assumption to think that they do. I don't think they do. But with this new service, they've opened the door to the speculation. And that's another problem that I have with this service, is that they're dealing with a community that is highly excitable. You're dealing with people's money. And not everybody, they claim, oh, well, people don't understand how hardware wallets work. We need education. Well, if that's the case, if you're so convinced that people don't know how hardware wallets work, then why did you introduce this service and make it even more confusing, right? Why did you introduce this service which is just begging to confuse your customer base and the crypto community at large? Really bad idea, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, let's talk a little. Yes, the passphrase will protect you. Dan is here. Thanks for being here, Dan. I think I saw JDO in earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was just Dan. Thanks for being here tonight, Dan, again. Let's see, I want to get caught up. So I need to pay $10 a month to use the new service by Ledger to make them have my seed phrase safe. What will happen when I stop paying? Do they delete the seed phrase? There was in one of the articles on their website where they talk about the Ledger Recover service, they go through the I've lost my mouse. They go through the whole process of what happens when you stop paying. The short answer is yes. If you stop paying, then you will be unable to access your recovery information. The good news is that you should, as far as my understanding goes, is that you are still responsible for writing down your seed phrase when you initialize the device. So you do have your own backup. And just because you're using this service, if you decide you want to use this service as a safety valve, you should still have your seed phrase. So if you decide to use the service and then for whatever reason you can't pay them because you're incapacitated or you go bankrupt or whatever the reason why, if you can't pay them, then you will not eventually, now they give you a lot of chances, right? Eventually you won't have access to their recovery service, but you will still have your own seed phrase, right? So it's not like they're going to yank your crypto out if you don't pay. And we're assuming that your device is still functioning also. So, I know we're all assuming that you've lost the device or it's damaged or whatever, but that's not always the case, right? Just because they have, if you're going to sign up for something and you don't pay them, then you're not going to get the service. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? If you sign up for Amazon Prime and you don't pay them, then they'll cancel your Prime, Or if you sign up for a software subscription or a streaming service and you don't pay them, they'll cut it off. I mean, obviously, right? But if you have a functioning device, you haven't lost access to your crypto. And if you've written down your seed phrase, then you can still recover your device if something happens to it, right? So it's not like game over or anything. If you write down your seed phrase and then crumble it up and throw it over your shoulder and then, totally rely on the Ledger recovery service and then can't pay them, and your device gets lost and broken, then yeah, you'll lose your crypto. But that's a lot of ifs. Still, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So let's talk a little bit about open source. And I was, Cold Card is a, let me see if I can show you their site. Whoops. Cold Card wallet. A very safe and secure wallet. I haven't heard back from them. I tried reaching out to them. I didn't get a response, but I had to. A lot of companies like this don't have like phone numbers or direct contact information. So I basically reached out to them through their tech support and tried to sort of introduce myself and ask them to send me one of these. I might end up just having to buy one. They're not that expensive. Let me see. Well, they are. $150. I haven't heard back from them. I would like to do a demo on this. But this is a cryptocurrency wallet. It's kind of unique in the sense that it's not a full service wallet. I believe you have to use it in conjunction with other wallets. And it does appear to be rather difficult to use, just from me just glancing at it. But I do want to do a video on getting one of these set up and used. And their software is open source. And now, as I mentioned, in the AMA where the influencers were talking with the Ledger company, I kind of jumped in the middle of a conversation about Cold Card, and Charles was basically just bad-mouthing Cold Card and saying that, it's not as secure as everyone thinks it is, basically. As I mentioned, his argument was always, well, that's not secure either. So since nothing is secure, you should just trust us, basically. Which is a cop-out argument in my mind. But I think most people consider Cold Card to be one of the most secure and open source ways to custody your private key or your seed phrase, right? But this is a Bitcoin-only wallet, right? But it is a good solution, an alternate solution, if you've decided that you're not happy with trusting Ledger. I believe, though, at its heart, there might be an element of trust. I can't say that for sure, but there always is. Roman, thank you so much. Thoughts on the Tangem wallet? I've done a video on Tangem. I will link you to that. Tangem is a good solution. Now, Tangem is, and I'll go ahead and drop a link to that in the live stream chat for you. So that's a complete setup video from beginning to end. Unboxing and setup. All right, and here's Tangem. Whoops. It is also my understanding that Tangem is completely open source. I'm not sure where they say it, but it sort of came into focus when, well, if we look at the video, let's see here, where was that? Is that it? Okay, I'm just give me a quick.
Hey guys, CryptoDad here again.
All right, there's the video. Okay, someone came in the comments and said that Tangem was not open source, and then I found a link to their website where cutting edge technology, I think this is, highest security, open source, right? Their app. Now their app is open source, but the firmware is, I don't believe the firmware is, right? So there's that small level of trust. But this is a great solution. First of all, it's cheap. And second of all, it's durable. But the way this wallet works is you get these cards, and I've got one here. And then the card, when you initialize the wallet, it generates a random private key in the privacy of your own home, and then you can pair this card up to a backup card. So you could buy 2 or 1, right? So you can buy a 2-pack or a 3-pack. So if you buy a 2-pack, you've got your go-to card and 1 backup. And if you buy the 3-pack, you've got 1 go-to card and 2 backups. Now, I believe that you could buy additional cards and add them as backups. So potentially, you could do unlimited, I guess. I'm pretty sure that every new card that, like if you ordered a new 3-pack, you could set those 3 cards up as backups of your original, right? So you could make 10 of them or 20 of them if you want, right? And then hide them in different places and all that good stuff, right? You never write down your seed phrase, so you have no access to your seed phrase. This is good and bad, right? Some people want to be able to manage their seed phrase, but this is the solution to the problem that Ledger is addressing of people mismanaging their seed phrase. In fact, this wallet solves a problem which Ledger Recovery does not solve, and that is being tricked into revealing your seed phrase. Now, all this, we've been talking about this new Ledger service tonight. And but the fact of the matter is, even if you're using this Ledger backup service, you have already written down your own seed phrase, and you can be tricked into revealing it by scammers and hackers, right? So signing up for Ledger Recover does not protect you from yourself, right? So if you've have a Ledger device, you're in, you sign up for the Recover, and you're all safe and sound, so you think. 77DW Brown, appreciate that. That's cool. Another attack surface that I would like to bring up with this Ledger service. This is completely separate from this concern. This is a concern about their firmware. Is the wallet safe? That's nothing compared to the Ledger Recover service has opened up a whole new avenue for phishing attacks, right? You've got crypto. You're not very comfortable with the crypto, but you've managed up to this point. And then, Granny or I keep saying granny. I mean, I'm sure there's some sharp grannies out there. I'm just trying to give you kind of a scenario. It could be a 20-something, right, who's, busy doing something else. But anyway, he or she gets an email that from Ledger Recover, right? Ledger Recover says, have you heard of Ledger Recover? Protect your assets, right? And then you click the link and it takes you to a faux website, which is not Ledger Recover. And then they walk you through the process. All right, connect your device, do all this stuff. And of course, it's not going to work because they are not Ledger Recover. So what will they do? At a certain point once they've hooked the person, they'll say something like, oh, gee, our backup servers are down right now. So, but I know you want to protect your assets. So I need you to read the seed phrase to me. Right? So they've come out with this service for people that are unsure of themselves, or let's just be blunt, they think people are too stupid or lazy to manage their own seed phrase, right? Now, we've opened the door to phishers that are going to take advantage of people's fears. They'll contact you directly, say, have you heard of Ledger Recover? You need to protect your assets. You might lose all your crypto. Click here. They take you through and they trick you into revealing your backup phrase. Another attack surface, which is a much more common way of stealing people's crypto, right? Phishing attacks. They had them before when the Ledger customer database got revealed in 2020, 21. And a lot of people were getting contacted by Ledger because hackers and phishers knew who had Ledger devices, right? They may not have known everything about them, but they had their email, and they knew, okay, well, this email purchased a Ledger. That's all they really needed, right? They would send them an email and tell them that they were from Ledger support and your crypto's at risk, and trick them into revealing their backup phrase. Now they got another avenue, which is, oh, Ledger Recover here. Let me help you. So really, just not good. So we were talking about Tangem. Sorry, I got off on a tangent. But we were talking about Tangem Wallet, how you don't write down your seed phrase. Now, the drawback to this wallet, which many people have brought up, is, okay, so I get these 3 cards. I get this wallet set up. I store a bunch of crypto in there, and then I lose all 3 cards. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty much, will I lose my crypto? And my answer is yes, you will. The reason you have 3 cards is so you don't lose them all, right? But yeah, I mean, in this situation, it's like a bearer bond, right? Whoever has it owns it. It's a great, simple, safe, secure, and mostly open source way of storing your crypto offline, right? It's a hardware wallet solution, but yeah, if you lose all 3 cards, you lose your crypto. That's a given, right? But that goes for anything, right? Grandpa gives me a gold coin, and I go, gee, Grandpa, what if I lose this gold coin? Maybe I shouldn't take it. And Grandpa's like, haven't you ever heard of like making sure you don't lose stuff? Right? That's kind of like saying, oh, I bought a new car. They gave me a key, and then they gave me another key. What if I lose both keys? I'm like, then you won't be able to start your car, right? Let's be real. But yeah, that's Tangem. That's not a bad solution. And it's, to a certain extent, open source. And Charles from Ledger is correct. There is a level of trust in just about every hardware wallet, right? To a certain extent, except for Trezor. As far as I can see, the Trezor firmware is open source. The Trezor suite is open source. And then a couple of other things are completely open source. So the software can be audited. I think I'll put a link to this Reddit discussion here. Now it goes back and forth. The big argument that people have against Trezor is that it's quote unquote been hacked. But that's only if someone has physical possession of the device. So it boils down to physical security in that sense, right? But the scenario that someone mentioned in this particular Reddit thread was that if someone steals your Trezor, they can pay a hacker to break into it. Okay, yeah, maybe, I guess, right? But as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, or last week, I think we were talking about this. The Trezor hack that everyone's talking about requires the attacker to have physical possession of the device, and it requires very specialized skills and very specialized equipment, right? So yeah, if someone stole it and then thought you had some crypto on there, they could probably find someone online that they could hire to hack the device. But that's, that would be difficult, right? So first you got to find somebody that's honest that will help you do this. Then you have to meet them, right? Then you have to hand them the device and have them do their little specialized thing, right? Who's to say they're not going to steal the device from you if, you're that. So there's a lot of ifs in all of this Ledger is not, or I'm sorry, the Trezor is not secure thing. But anyway, let me see. I wanted to post that little Reddit thread there. But one of the things that I wanted to bring out on the Reddit thread is that I can see Trezor. I can see the source code. You don't have to trust Satoshi Labs. You do have to trust Ledger to use their products, right? That's the best thing. And this little sentence here: don't trust Satoshi Labs. They're the ones that make Trezor. You don't need to. That's the point, right? And then the other comment here: you don't have to and shouldn't trust Satoshi Labs. You do have to trust Ledger to use their products. And someone mentions that, here's the guy talking about the hack, the chip is not secure, specialized attack, that kind of stuff. But somebody in here mentioned that you can actually build your own Trezor. They give you all the information that you need. I can't find that. Of course, I can't find it now. But anyway, that's what someone said. They were like, oh, yeah. Here it is, right here at the top. The files for the 3D printable case is on Trezor's GitHub, along with the schematics for the circuit boards and all of the little electric parts needed to make your own. So you could go out and make your own Trezor device. It's completely open source. They have all of the schematics and the plans so that if you want to make your own, you can. It's a completely open source ecosystem, right? So pretty cool. And I've done some videos on how you can transfer your assets from a Ledger to a Trezor. And of course, the main concern that, the people that want to raid on the parade are going to say, oh, it's been hacked, right? But as I mentioned, it's not an easy hack, right? And as long as it doesn't get stolen, then you don't have to worry about the hack, right? Anyway. Okay. Let me get caught up a little bit. Get up here. You guys need to go get safe. That works off of your fingerprint. Keep your phrase in there. You can forget anything you want to forget as long as you don't chop your finger off. You're good. I did a video not too long ago on the I'm open. I'm gonna OD on tabs here, but that's okay. The Descent wallet, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe the Descent wallet has fingerprint. But basically, the fingerprint just opens up the device. You do write down a seed phrase when you set this thing up, too. So the seed phrase is vulnerable to being stolen, right? And then someone, I think in the comments to this video, said, what if you lose your fingerprint? It was what if you die? Then the wallet is inaccessible. And that, I guess, is true. So in that case, you would want to have made arrangements for someone to have the seed phrase so that they could set it up on a new device, right? Something like that, right? I'd also would like to point out, I've been getting this question quite a bit. I've always been getting this question, and it has to do with hardware wallets and any kind of wallet. They'll say something like, what if the wallet company goes out of business? What if the software the software company goes out of business if it's a software-based wallet? I get that a lot. And I just want to point out that a 12 or 24 word seed phrase is an industry standard. Now, there is a little bit of an issue between the way that Ledger and Trezor handle their seed phrases, I found out. So they don't always use the same derivation path. But in general, and that can be, there's a fix. There's ways to get around that. But in general, any wallet that has a seed phrase that seed phrase can be imported into other types of wallets. So you're never completely dependent on the wallet technology itself. The seed phrase is a completely different cryptographic industry standard way of storing seed phrases for crypto wallets. So don't ever think that, what if the wallet goes out of, what if the company goes out of business, or I can't access the wallet anymore, or I can't access the software anymore. As long as you have your 12 or 24 word seed phrase, you'll be able to recover that wallet somewhere else. Could be a different hardware wallet, could be a software wallet. That the seed phrase is enough to give you access to your crypto, even if the wallet that you initialized is no longer available to you, right? So I just want everyone to understand that, and that's kind of why there's all this controversy, because the seed phrase is the wallet in so many respects. And that's why hackers trick people into revealing the seed phrase, because that's the wallet, right? That's pretty much the wallet. Okay. Seed phrase and passphrase. How many people know? Yeah, I think thank you, Bon. Yeah. We did talk a little bit in the beginning about the difference between a seed phrase and a passphrase. And there is a subtle distinction. And sometimes people use the terms interchangeably and muddy the waters even more. But the seed phrase is the 24 or 12 word that you write down on a piece of paper. The passphrase is an additional security that you add, right? And it's usually just one string, right? It's not another 24, right? It's just an additional string. So, yeah, there's a difference between a seed phrase and a passphrase. Let me go here to just before I talk about that movie, Mastering Bitcoin. Okay. This is the book by Andreas Antonopoulos. Very good book. It looks different now than what it looked. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Let me go down here. Oh, here. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. I believe it's here. Yeah, we're going to get technical. Okay. They're talking about how seed phrases are generated. This is the crux of the biscuit, right? We have this private key that gets generated, which is a really long number. It goes through a bunch of transformations, and then it gets split into chunks, like these 11-bit chunks. Well, each of these 11-bit chunks can be looked up in a table for a corresponding word, right? This word list is 2,048 words, and they have more. This is the English one, but they have other languages too, right? It's a set of words, right? Doesn't change. It goes all the way from 1 to 2,048. So this process of splitting up this long number into chunks that go into this table so that they can link this particular long key to the corresponding word, right? So now we get our 12 words, right? Now, those words normally will spit out a master private key. And that's a base configuration. If we start from 7 and go straight to 9, we have a base configuration, right? That's what most people use. However, you can add what's called salt or an optional passphrase. When you do that, the 12-word base is combined with that optional extra word. Some people call it the 25th word, or passphrase, and that creates a completely different master private key, right? So if someone gets these words and restores it to a different wallet, if you've only used a passphrase configuration, this will be empty, right? It'll be blank, right? They would also need your passphrase, and that's extra security. We've talked about that. The problem is if you already have a bunch of crypto in your base configuration, you're going to need to transfer it to your passphrase configuration. If you've always been using a passphrase, well, then you're golden, right? But if you have been using a base configuration, you can't just add a passphrase, right? You're going to get a completely different configuration by doing that, and you'll have to transfer all your crypto into that new configuration one by one, right? There's no way to just like migrate everything over to a passphrase configuration. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the difference between passphrase and seed phrase, right? Here's the seed phrase, here's the passphrase. All right. Well, hi, Kitty. Oh, Kitty just came. What's Kitty gonna do? Kitty was in his box earlier. I can't get, I'm gonna see if I can. Hi, Kitty. Oh, now he just wants to lay down. Okay. I'm gonna turn this on. Here, X Mirage. Yeah. Okay. Whoops. Okay. And I'll show you. Yeah. That's where Kitty was before the live stream. That's CryptoDad's closet. And I don't know why that box ended up down there on the floor with a couple of shirts in it, but that's where Kitty sleeps during the day. Yeah, there's the closet. Okay. Yeah. So, whoops. Yeah, you guys can see that picture there. That's Kitty. Okay. Oh, and you can hear the dog barking over there. This is a good segue. I'd like to talk about a movie that I saw. We watched it the other day, and then we wanted our daughter to watch it. What am I doing here? Okay. It's kind of weird. Why is it full screen? Okay. Oh, I see. That's interesting. Ooh, Kitty's claws. So the name of the movie is, and let's go over here, Missing, right? I have a link to this review down in the description below. I've read a couple of reviews of the movie, and they basically were talking about whether or not the movie was good, right? That's normally what reviews do. They talk about whether or not the movie was good, predictable. Hey, D.W. Brown, what wallet supports Zag and works with Uphold? Don't know that one off the top of my head. I will give that a shot. Let's see here. Zag. Ooh, ouch. Whoops. What did you say? XAG. Okay. Okay, this is it. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Is that it? XAG. Huh. I'm not sure if this is the crypto you're even asking me about. So in order for me to evaluate a crypto and talk to you about it, I need to be able to look it up on CoinGecko. If I can't look it up on CoinGecko, then I can't help you, to be honest with you. And can you buy this on Uphold? Okay, thank you. Kitty just jumped down here. Oops, sorry. Ugh. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so, God, I hate Uphold. Ugh. How do you search for a damn crypto on this site? It's really irritating. Okay, silver spot token. Okay, is that what I'm looking at here? Silver T silver? Why does it say TXAG when I put in XAG? Or are you just not giving me the correct ticker? And that the ticker is TXAG? It looks like it's Polygon based. Or, it's Ethereum based. Well, okay, so they have, it looks like it's a XMR, I'm sorry, EVM based token, right? Well, that's a no-brainer. It works. You can put an EVM-based token in any wallet, really. Ledger, Trezor, MetaMask. Almost every wallet supports the EVM chains, especially Ethereum, but Polygon as well, right? And Uphold is an exchange. It doesn't care what wallet you use. All you need to do is, if you withdraw from Uphold, you just send it to an address. It doesn't care what wallet you're using. Well, if that's the token you're asking me about. Oh, okay. Silver, thank you, MG. Silver spot token XAG is a token based on Ethereum blockchain. The most actual price for one silver spot is 23.62. Let me see. Maybe I can find it on CoinMarketCap. Okay, is it this thing? That looks weird. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard anything about Atomic Wallet getting hacked, right? You missed my response. Which of the two do you think is best, Authy or Google? Which includes others do you prefer? I use Google Authenticator, if you guys don't know that. And the reason I use it is because I've been using it for a long time. And I'm trying to get this here. Okay. I did a video on the new cloud backup feature of Google Authenticator earlier this week. Or last week, whenever it was. I'll put a link to that in the video. But your question is, which is better, Authy or Google? It's a tough answer because there are a lot of you can't just say which is better because there are a lot of factors that come into play. One of them is I like the fact that Authy has a cloud backup feature, and so do most people. And as far as I know, Authy's cloud backup is end-to-end encryption. Google has lacked the cloud backup feature for many years, like 12 years. And now that they've offered it, it's not end-to-end encryption. So I'm not using it. That was basically what I said in that video. If I can find it. Yeah, I'm getting lost in all these tabs. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it now. What did I do with that? Maybe I close. Oh, here it is. But, and this is a big but, Google Authenticator historically has been the most supported two-factor authentication across a lot of different services and websites. So maybe that's changing. But 5 years ago, almost every site that supported two-factor hardware authentication supported Google Authenticator, but not always Authy. So that was why I kind of stuck with Google Authenticator, because it was more widely supported. That may have changed by now. I'm not sure about that. Might have changed. But that was, and now that I've been using Google Authenticator for so long, you can see that I have, I have 88 codes in here. It would really be difficult to migrate 88 codes over to a different two-factor authentication because you have to do them one by one. So I'm kind of like stuck with Google Authenticator, even though but I don't use their cloud backup. I manage my own Google Authenticator. There's a couple of ways you can manage Google Authenticator. You can do it locally by doing the export. When you do the export, it's going to give you QR codes. Oops. All right, let me grab this guy if I can. Wow. Okay. Caught that one. Okay. Wow, it's been a while since I've been porno spammed. Wow. I feel honored that porno spammers find me worthy of spamming. Okay. We got him. I got him. Sorry. Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah, I mean, for a while there, we had this live stream set to subscribers only. But when I started my new format, I started opening it up to anyone because I wanted to be more inviting. So we run the risk of people like that jumping in. So I apologize for that. Now he might just change usernames and come in again. We'll see. So yeah, Google Authenticator versus Authy. Authy, I believe, is better, but I've been using Google Authenticator for a long time, and migrating to a new two-factor is quite cumbersome. So I'm going to stick with Google Authenticator. And as far as I know, it is still more widely supported by, like if you have a certain, like for example, Coinbase. I think Coinbase supports Authy now too, but for a while there they didn't. So, but if you're using Coinbase and you want to enable two-factor and they don't support Authy, then your clear choice is Google Authenticator, right? Anyway, I was talking about the export account feature in Google Authenticator. You can do this locally, and you can back it up to another device in your possession. So I recently got a new phone. Within the last year, I got a new iPhone, and instead of turning in my old iPhone, I kept my old iPhone. And I exported my Google Authenticator codes to my new phone, but I kept my old phone, right? I just turned it off and stuck it in a drawer. So if this phone gets damaged, lost, or stolen, I'll still have my Google codes backed up onto my other device. So most people have an old phone laying around somewhere that you can use to back up your Google codes. Or you can just sort of screen cap your Google codes the way, as you can see, I'm sharing my phone screen. I could do a Windows screen cap and then store the QR codes on a flash drive, something like that. There's ways to back up Google codes, right? Not to mention the fact that when you sign up for two-factor, they're usually going to give you a key code as well. You should always keep those because you can use those to regain access. Yeah, he's doing it again. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's just, he's, okay. I thought he was doing it again. I think Dan got him that time. Okay. All right. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll need to go back to subscribers only. But anyway, I can see it. Can we have a self-authenticator on a laptop without a number, but only with an internet connection? I'm not sure. I mean, you can have an offline computer that runs a air-gapped crypto wallet. I'm not sure if you could use an air-gapped computer as your two-factor. Not too sure about that, but I know you can use an air-gapped desktop or laptop as your, and what you would call an offline safe and secure Bitcoin wallet. But that's really cumbersome and difficult to use and very inconvenient to use. So there's always a trade-off between security and usability, right? And the air-gapped computer is a great, secure solution, but very cumbersome and inconvenient to use. So you have to make your choice. So that's HH says these wallet hacks are blemishes on the crypto industry. Unfortunately, got to work past them. Yeah. Thank you, Dan and JDO, on those. That was crazy. Dan the man. Got the kids with me, so may have to leave till next week. I know it's not your fault, bud. Yeah, sorry about that. I could just switch back to subscribers only, but those type of people can get past that too. I mean, all they really have to do is subscribe to the channel and wait 5 minutes. It's kind of discourages that sort of behavior, but doesn't totally prevent it. And I have to mention that this is the first time I've had that in years. I mean, I remember it happening back in maybe 2018 or 19, maybe 2020. But yeah, it's been a while since I've had someone with that kind of vitriol. Usually they're just money spammers, right? They're just trying to get somebody, they're just shilling coins, right? I've never had anybody, that was pretty bad. Anyway, sorry about that. I wanted to talk about this movie because it does relate a lot to what we're have been discussing. The name of the movie is Missing. You can see it in the theater and you can see it on Netflix. Jimmy, thank you. I appreciate the subscription. Okay, Yubi, Mr. Miskey says that he's never had a problem with his YubiKey, which is cool. I remember, and things have changed, right? I'm an old guy, right? It's been 5 years since I've made my choice on my two-factor. I have a YubiKey, which I use as well to protect my my go-to accounts, and I want to talk about this more if I can get through this movie thing. But yeah, YubiKeys work great too. The only drawback to a YubiKey is it's a physical device, and you can lose it. Well, you can also lose your phone too. So anyway. So the movie is called Missing, and it's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, I think it's still in the top 10 movies on Netflix. And it's about it's an 18-year-old girl. I think they made her 18 because there were a few things that she needed like ID for, so it couldn't have been like a 10-year-old, right? But she's very tech savvy, and her mom goes on a vacation with her boyfriend, and they end up missing. And so she has to use her tech savvy resources to locate her mom. I don't want to spoil the whole movie for you. How do you move Zag? Okay, look, I don't know. You get an address and you transfer from the exchange, right? God. Oh my God. All right, so where is this Zag? Okay. Kurt, how do you search? Can't stand this thing. Okay. If you can't buy Zag on Uphold, then you can't move it. Zag. I don't even see it on Uphold, so it's kind of a moot point. Right? Does Uphold even support this thing that I can't seem to find anywhere? Okay. Can someone please help me? I still can't figure out how to search for a damn asset on Uphold. I really hate this site. It is just so... Okay, let's try this. Okay, there we go. Okay, all right. Oh, Jesus. All right. I don't know that you can move this. Okay, so I want to buy this thing, and I could use my Ethereum to do it, and use it all, and confirm it, and... See, I still can't Zag. I still can't find this. All right. So I still can't find this anywhere else. I just don't understand why this is this it? TXA Zag? Huh? Oh. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't understand why that you can buy it on Uphold. All right. Well, apparently I have it now. Okay. And okay, now I want to send it somewhere. They don't have any way to withdraw it on Uphold. If they did, then you would have a network that you could withdraw it to. So this particular asset can be bought on Uphold, but cannot be withdrawn from Uphold. You can only trade it. See, let me show you. Here's BTC, right? You have crypto networks. I can withdraw to the Bitcoin network, right? Here's ETH, right? Crypto networks. You can withdraw to the Ethereum network. Here's ZAG. No crypto networks, right? So there's your answer. You can't. All right. I'd like to move on now. All right. All right. So I was trying to explain this movie to you so that I could get into the techniques that she used to locate her mom. Where is this? Here we go. All right. So she's calling the hotel. She's doing a bunch of things trying to locate her mom, who was in Colombia, I believe. And she went on TaskRabbit and found out that it's not available in Colombia, but she found another similar service. She got somebody in Colombia that could help her, that spoke English, and was paying him to kind of help remotely. And then he mentioned that, your mom's phone is trackable. And she tried logging into her mom's Google account, but she couldn't get in from the password. And then it was suggested, well, why don't you try her boyfriend? So they tried her boyfriend. They found that he had a website. And so she went, she found out where the website was hosted, and then she tried to log in to his web hosting account using his Gmail, but she didn't know his password. So she called the web service, and her and her friend performed what would be called a social engineering attack to get his password. And the assumption is that the password he was using for his web hosting service was the same password he was using for his Google account. And it turned out that it was. All right, so lesson number 1, don't use the same password across different sites. But their social engineering attack went something like this. I lost my password. Can you help me? Right? And so they said, okay, well, we need some information. What is your birth date? Well, they found that pretty easily on his Facebook page because his mom was friends with him. Then they asked for the last 4 of his social, and the friend said, I don't give out that information. Right? So then the tech support guy says, okay, what's your mother's maiden name? Well, they were able to find that as well on his Facebook page because they were friends with his mom or whatever. So they were able to find that. Then the next question was, where did you go to school? In elementary, and they were able to, they didn't have the school, but they figured out places that he had lived before, and they used that information to Google map his hometown, which only had 2 elementary schools, and they guessed correctly what his elementary school was, and those 3 items of information were enough for the tech support guy at his web hosting to give them the password, reset the password. So lesson number 2, don't give true security questions. When you are asked to give 3 security questions on any type of account, always use fake questions. Don't use real answers. A lot of people think they have to give real answers. You do not. So if your mother's maiden name is Jones, and that people can figure that out. So if you're going to use an answer to that question, use a fake one. Use my mother's maiden name is Stevens, even though it's not. And then write that down so that if you need to get back in, you'll remember. So here's what I do. I go into, well, I'm not going to, yeah, okay. So here's my 1Password. Now, 1Password has a, I don't want to reveal this password, but there is a section down here when you go into edit. Let me see if it reveals anything here. It does not. Okay. So you have a notes section where you can add security questions. All right. And here's where you add mother's maiden name. Right? And then you put down your fake one, Jenkins. Right? So that only you know. I know this is a little tricky, right? Because you might forget this, but I have a password manager. So I save all of this information in my password manager when it comes to security questions, because never use real security questions because people can figure out your security questions. Now, after she gained access to his Google account, she was able to log into his Google account and look at his tracking information. If you're not aware, if you log into your Google account, you can look at your travel history if that Google account is tied to your Google Maps, which is on your phone. So if you don't, lesson number 3, protect your Google account at all costs. Your Google account reveals a frightening amount of information about you. And I use 2-factor authentication on my Google account, and I use hardware. So I think I talked to you guys last week about that when I was up in Mackinac, I wasn't able to get into my YouTube account because I didn't have my hardware device with you. It's similar to a YubiKey. And when I tried to log into my YouTube account, up in Mackinac on the hotel Wi-Fi, it asked me to verify. And I cannot log in remotely to my Gmail account without that hardware, right? So you want to prevent anyone from logging into your Gmail account. There are so many things that you can access once you've logged into someone's Gmail account. Their travel timeline, their search history, web history. I mean, just so much, right? So this is a very interesting movie. They showed the process. These are 2 18-year-old girls. They managed to get into his Gmail account. Now, luckily for them, he was using the same password for his web as he was using for his Gmail. But there were a couple of other things that they tried to log into later in the movie that he had used different passwords for, but they had access to his Google account, and so they just did password resets from the Google account to gain access to these additional accounts, right? And then later in the movie, spoiler alert, she was able to figure out the password to her mom's Google. And that's another lesson here, is that don't protect your Gmail account with 2-factor so that someone guessing your password is not enough, right? They should have to have a phone or a hardware device to log into the account. Now, it's different if you're at their location. I don't think she wasn't logging into her mom's computer. She was on her own computer. So she was remotely logging into her Gmail account, right? But in this movie, the only thing she had to do was finally guess the password. So this movie's great. Talks about security. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie, but it had a whole bunch of online stuff about how you track someone, and it was horrifyingly tied to their Google account, right? Once you have access to someone's Google account, if that's their go-to email, then you have a frightening amount of information about that person. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up. There were probably some other things that occurred in the movie that were notable as far as security goes, but those are the main ones, right? Security questions. Always choose fake security questions. Always choose, and the reason that she was able to guess her mom's password is because it was personal to her, right? So don't use personal type information in your passwords. Always use random long passwords. You can use, create them in your head or use a password manager, right? I also highly recommend using a password manager like 1Password or Passlane. I couldn't live without my password manager, right? All right, so I'll move on from that. That was fun. I would recommend that movie just for the technology. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I've noticed there's some other people. BitFi even as only BTC isn't really good. Hear a lot of mixed reviews on it. And JDO, sorry, I'm having trouble tagging CryptoDad. Only want to know about the BitFi hardware wallet at Ghost. BitFi, okay. I have never used this. I should try to get a hold of it. I don't. Okay, so this is a hardware wallet, right? At first, it looked like an app at first. Only wallet that cannot be seized, stolen, or... I apologize, I've never used this. I should take this as... I've contacted several hardware companies since this Ledger thing happened, and one is on its way. The Engrave was one, but I think I'm still expecting a... Oh, I'm sorry. Engrave is one that I'm still waiting on, but I did do a review of Descent. And I'm also getting another hardware wallet from a different company. So I'm trying to get all these hardware reviews in for you guys. So trust me, I'm working on it. I'll see if I can't contact BitFi and try to get a hold of them. I don't know about this. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Do you buy it or do you not buy it? Okay, is this it? Okay. Okay, so there it looks... okay. Okay. Oh, okay, I see. See, you can use crypto to buy it. Okay. I was a little confused there. So you order it? It looks kind of like, I don't know if that's two devices or it's just they're showing you the back and the front. And like I said, I haven't tried this thing out, but it looks like an air-gapped solution. It says no private keys. World's only wallet doesn't have private keys, making it impossible to seize, lose, or steal. BitFi is pure consciousness. No folders, no Chrome extension, no third-party wallets. All digital assets conveniently appear in one place with balances. Open source, okay. No backups, unlimited wallets. Far from a cold, a wallet is a blockchain interface system that is much more secure. The BitFi protocol secures billions. Wealth management doesn't have to be stressful. Yeah, I'll have to do some more research into exactly how this works. I apologize. I haven't done a unboxing and demo of this particular wallet. I'll see if I can get a hold of one. I'll have to contact them. because I don't have $200 to throw around right now. But I'll see if I can get a hold of it. And I'll have to read more about how it works. I mean, I can do that without buying it. But right now, I'm a little in the dark about how it actually works. You know what I would do myself? I would go on YouTube and see if anyone has a demo of this. And then I would see, how I could improve on that demo, be more, show more details and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'll go on YouTube and see if anyone has done a complete unboxing and setup of the video or of the wallet so I can figure out how it works. But it seems kind of odd that you wouldn't have no private keys. It looks innovative. But like I said, you have to be really careful with super secure, because if you go super secure and you throw usability out the window because you're so concerned about security, you might end up screwing something up. If you're not sure, it might not be for you, right? Ledger and Trezor have a great balance between security and usability, right? There are more secure solutions, but they are more difficult to use, and the chances of you screwing I hate to say this, but it's the truth. This is why Ledger has started with their recovery service, because people screw up self-custody, right? And the more secure you get, the more chances there are of you screwing it up. And there's no takebacks with this kind of stuff, right? There's nobody to call, right? You screw it up, your crypto's gone. Yeah, so it looks very secure. I would just have to personally, I need to do some more research as to exactly how it works, right? But just from browsing on here, it looks complicated. And it looks like an innovative new type of solution. And new can be bad in certain ways as far as convenience and usability and familiarity. If the process is completely foreign to you, then sure, it could be great. I'm not banging it. I'm just saying that there will be a learning curve to get to use this thing, right? Forsake answers or questions. Will the user forget over time what they put in? It can be a real issue. Yes, definitely. I've done that myself. A lot of times I have a little app that tracks my investments, and a lot of times I'll look at a coin that I put in there and think, where in the heck did I put that coin? And then I have to backtrack and try to figure out what I did and where it went and what wallet I used. Sometimes I even go through my YouTube videos and watch myself. So I have a window to my past in that sense. I can actually watch myself setting up wallets or coins and stuff, and then I'm like, oh, that's where I put it. I swear to God, I've done that before. When I couldn't figure out what I did with a coin, I went back in my YouTube videos and watched myself like store it, and then that's what I did with it, right? So if you don't have a YouTube channel and you put a coin somewhere and you can't remember what you did with it, you could lose your crypto that way, right? Have a system. If it's an Excel file or a Word file or whatever that you've got, it doesn't have to have private keys on there, but it can be just a note to yourself as to where you stored a particular crypto and what type of wallet and that kind of stuff. So don't get caught in that trap of trying to be so secure that you screw up and forget what you did with your crypto. You do not want that. It's a bad feeling. Let's see, MG, it's weird. And thank you, L. Lionel. I appreciate that. What do I think about Descent? Well, I did a Descent video. I think it's a pretty decent wallet. I'll put this in the, I'll put a link to this. And Lionel, I appreciate it. Oh, how do I celebrate? I wish I could figure out how to celebrate. That was your first super chat, and I surely appreciate it. I don't know how I would go about celebrating that, though. I think it's cool. I think we just did a little celebration. Gnosis Safe and Tangem. Now, I looked a little bit into Gnosis Safe earlier today. I got a very sincere email from someone, but he asked quite a few questions, so I was working on it. Now, Gnosis Safe is a system that links to existing wallets and adds another layer of security, and it is an EVM-based solution. It's not a Bitcoin solution. As far from just my initial research, seems pretty good, but I haven't really had a chance to use it yet. They claim that there's billions of dollars being protected by it. It's a Web3 based wallet, but it is, it's for EVM chains. EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine. It includes Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain. There's a bunch of EVM based cryptos out there. And there's a lot of different wallets you can use to custody them. This is the main type of crypto that's used on decentralized exchanges like Uniswap and 1inch and SushiSwap. So, I think one of the main features of this safe, it's not, it used to be called Gnosis Safe, but now they've changed the name to just Safe. But it's a multi-sig. It can be set up as multi-sig. And I think that's its main feature. It's designed to help people that are in the business of crypto to multi-sig their holdings so that not just one person is responsible for a wallet. Multi-sig is kind of like, like in the old movies where they have a submarine that launches nuclear missiles and there's like two keys, and the keys are the key holes are too far apart for one person to launch the nuclear missiles. So each person has to turn the key at the same time. That's what a multi-sig wallet is like, but it can be more than two, right? It could be maybe 5 to where it requires 5 people to turn their key at the same time. Generally, it's more like you split it into 3 and only 2 of the 3 people are required to, unlock assets in the wallet, right? I think that's the main feature of Safe, is that it allows you to do multi-sig. And so a company that is custodying crypto doesn't have to worry about one employee going rogue. Or, when they make decisions, they're forced to act together, right? It's not just one person has access to the wallet. So I think that's the main feature of Gnosis Safe, but I haven't tried it out yet. And as far as I can see, it looks free to use, as far as I can see. It looks like, and you connect it to other wallets, right? So you connect it to different wallets, but then there's a top layer of security on top of that with Gnosis Safe. And I will point out that it does look rather complicated, but it's designed for, more of a company use case than a single user use case. Although I believe you can use it as a single node wallet, right? With just one backup key, right? But it's basically it's a Web3 layer of security on top of existing wallets. Just thought I should mention that Descent requires an OTG cable for updating its firmware. It's hard to update otherwise, and it isn't as simple as Ledger Live. I did set up the Descent wallet, but I did not update the firmware yet. Whoops, that's laying around here somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. I don't know if you just mean this. Here's the Descent wallet. I'm not sure if you just mean this USB cable, or you just mean that I haven't done a firmware update yet. This wallet, I'm sorry, this cable is a pretty standard USB micro cable. I don't know if you mean this or you mean something else that you need for updating the firmware. Descent wallet. I thought that it had a desktop, but if it doesn't, then maybe you do need a funky phone cable to run the update. If all it has, or for the firmware update. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I have the biometric. So yeah, maybe you're right. Or I'm not doubting you, but if it's a phone-based app, then updating the firmware could be problematic on the biometric device, right? I haven't gone through that yet, but I'm glad you pointed that out. I think it's a fairly decent wallet. But I don't have the card. I just have the biometric, and I set it up in that video that I have linked there. I've dropped a lot of links in the live stream tonight for setup videos and stuff. What's your favorite hot wallet, CryptoDad? Well, some people consider MetaMask a hot wallet, but you can also protect your MetaMask wallet with hardware devices too. So as far as this wallet goes, it is just based on the seed phrase, and so this would be considered a hot wallet. But the other account over here is based on my Ledger device, so in that sense, MetaMask is facilitating a cold wallet solution. But it's also a hot wallet. So if you don't have enough money for a hardware wallet and you want to trade crypto and you want a versatile wallet, MetaMask is, it's free, and you can use MetaMask. I think it's one of the most recognized wallets out there, and you can connect to Uniswap and a lot of online dexes. EVM-based wallet, right? So I would, in the sense of it being hot, I would say that MetaMask is my favorite hot wallet. Someone had mentioned that Atomic Wallet had been hacked. I hadn't heard about that. So I don't know, but Atomic Wallet is a desktop-based wallet. It's a pretty decent wallet. You can use it in conjunction with a Ledger as well, but it is also at its core, it's a hot wallet that if you wanted to, you don't have enough money to run out and buy a expensive hardware wallet, you could use Atomic Wallet, you could use Exodus. But of all of these wallets, my favorite is MetaMask. But Exodus and Atomic Wallet are more flexible. They support more coins than MetaMask, right? And then also, I know Hot Wallet would be complete without Electrum. Electrum is an open source Bitcoin wallet, and you can actually use Electrum wallet with a hardware device, and you can set it up with an air-gapped computer. A little difficult to do, but it's free, and it's really easy to use just in its normal state. You don't have to use it with an air-gapped computer. You can just run it on your computer. And it's a really good open source Bitcoin wallet. But yeah, my favorite hot wallet I would have to say is MetaMask. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Sorry for the spammer that got in here earlier. I'll have to consider maybe going to subscribers only next week. But if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. And if you try to jump into the live stream next week or in the future, and it's telling you that you have to be a subscriber, then you just subscribe and wait 5 minutes, right? I put that 5-minute timeout on there. So it's not like you'll be locked out if I go to that method next week, but it would discourage those spammers. Well, I'm glad I was able to answer your question, Max. I don't know everything, and I just do my best. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me. A lot of the questions were about wallets that I had not heard about or assets that I had not heard about, and I do my best to figure out what you're doing. And sometimes I get flustered and maybe a little impatient. I appreciate you guys bearing with me on that one. Yeah, that $200, that's pretty expensive. That's right. Anyway, thank you, Dan. Thank you, JDO, for being here tonight and helping me with crowd control to a certain extent and spam control as usual. Kenny, always good to have you here. Thanks again for the news stories, as always. And check out my channel. It's really easy if there's something you're looking for. Let's just say it was dissent, right? You could do CryptoDad. Whoops. Right? If you're looking, maybe did CryptoDad do anything on the dissent wallet? Just do a Google with the word next to it. Right? And then boom, it pops up in search results. I haven't been shadow banned from Google yet. You could do the same thing with MetaMask. Whoops. Right? But in this case, you'll get a whole bunch of different videos that I've done on MetaMask, right? I've done quite a few, right? You could do the same thing with Ledger. Although I would caution people, if you're going to Google me and pull up one of my videos, 2020 is okay. This is a pretty decent video. But if the video that you've pulled up is like 3 or 4 years old, you might want to keep searching till you find one that's a little more recent, right? Because I have several people that have brought up the fact that the interface has changed. And they'll say, oh, the screen doesn't look anything like it does in your video. And then I look at the video that they're commenting on, and I can see it's from 2018. And so I'll usually see if I have a more recent video and then paste that in for them and say, hey, check this one out. So yeah, if you're just in the blue searching for a video of mine, for a wallet or an issue or anything, just see, try to be selective and find the most recent video you can. The more recent, the better, right? Once again, thanks, everybody. Let's see. Let's go to this thing, right? Don't forget, we do this every Saturday night live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions, and I'll do my best to give you an answer calmly and coolly and without getting testy. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sure hope that you guys join me again next time. I would appreciate it. And if you like this video that you're watching right now, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me, and hope to see you again soon.